Reggie here. Reggie here, your friendly neighborhood bodybuilder and comic book collector, and I want to welcome you to another one of my live streams. I was trying to do something and just could not get it done before I clicked the button to go live. So here we are. We are like just in it now. We are just gonna lean into it. It is Friday, and I am feeling frisky. I'm feeling frisky because today, a massive stack of books arrived from CGC. I received 3 boxes of books, and I am pumped. That's in addition to the 1 box that I received earlier this week. So this is a good week. This is a good week for me. And I'm extremely pleased to finally announce that everyone who ordered one of the Sexy Beast signed variants by the extremely talented Yuko Smith has now been received and mailed out. I have bundled everything up and sent it out. So if you placed an order for one of the variants, you should have in your inbox all of your tracking information, and all of your boxes have been delivered to the post office. And I am very thankful that people were patient with me through this process. I'm excited to finally have this weight off of my shoulders because I don't like holding people's money, and I've been holding it for quite some time. I think everybody was understanding, which is great, but still, every time I look in the e-commerce system and see all of these unfulfilled orders, it gives me angst. And so it is nice to see that be cleaned out. If you placed an order for something and you do not have a tracking number in your inbox, please let me know as soon as possible because I want to look into it and see what's what. And for many of you that placed an order that had multiple things, again, your order should be complete. Some people ordered storage boxes or comics to go boxes that were mailed out. Some people order cutting boards that were mailed out. Some people order raw comics. All of that stuff should have all been mailed out already. And all you should now be waiting for are your signed comics, which, as I mentioned, are in the mail to you guys. So I'm definitely pleased that this is off my back. My man, White Well Comics, how you doing, brother? It is good to see you. It's been a while, man. I hope all is well with you. What is that? 7 people waiting for Reggie to either open a box or give us a channel. Technically, it's a little bit of both. It is a unboxing of sorts minus the box, and it is also an update related to the channel. So again, I am glad that this stuff is out of here, off my plate. There is also a little bit of an announcement. Maybe I'll make that a little bit later. But I wanted to also let people know that if you missed out on the initial release of the variant, I now have graded copies available, and all of them are now available on the website regiecollects.com. I will tell you that the quantities in general are limited. But I will show you this. Let me show you this. And as I work my way through this stack on my desk, anybody that places an order at this point will be getting, these are some additional Gung Ho Sexy Beast variants that I had. That's the black and white right there. And then that's the color. Pardon the language on those. So as long as supplies last, I will be bundling those with anybody that places an order. But what you're going to see on the website, if you go over, is I have one blue label 9.8 left of cover A. One copy of that, I do believe, that's on the website. Well, technically, it's probably that one. I have a couple of the cover A signed, and you can see my signature down right there. That is indeed my signature. It is they're either, I think they're all 9.8s, and they're either in red or yellow, I do believe, but those are on the site as well, the yellow labels. And then I have a couple of these where I actually put a date on there. Nothing crazy. It's just a simple date on those. Those are up there. And then I did something a little bit different. I got a little frisky when I was signing all of these things back in California. When did I sign these? 4/12/21. I was feeling a little frisky. With the black and whites, and I decided to do something. A lot of people were asking me to draw things and sketch things on comics. I have zero talent. I have zero talent, unlike my man Whitewell, who is in the room right now. I have zero talent when it comes to artistic things. So what I did do on a couple of these, specifically 3 of them, I did a little bit of an enhancement. You can see I colored in the tongue. That's like the best that I can do. I colored the tongue of the attackers that are going after the star character right there. So I have 2 of those where I basically colored the tongue. I thought that was as good as good gets for me. And then I have one where I did some teeth. I felt like I did a couple with the teeth, but the other copies may have gotten away from me and inadvertently mixed into someone's order. Surprise, may have lost track of those. But all of the copies that are on the website, whether they're yellow label, blue label, signed, not signed, they are all the same price as those that ordered them many months ago. I did not change any pricing, but I do have, of course, fixed and limited quantities. So if anyone is interested in any of this stuff, it is available on regiecollects.com. As I mentioned, I'll be throwing in a couple of variants, which are also worth a couple of bucks, at least cover price. I haven't looked the prices up, but all of that stuff will be sent out to everybody. So there you go. Check it out, brother. Clayton Crane has nothing to worry about from me. And what's crazy is that they actually called it a sketch. When I read the label here, signed and sketched, if you guys can see that, it's incredibly blurry. It says signed and sketched by Regie, which I just think is hilarious because maybe coloring is not a label designation that is worthy of CGC, because that's all that I did. I did not embellish or anything. I just try not to ruin what Yuko Smith had done with these amazing covers. Super talented guy. If you guys are not following him on Instagram, definitely encourage you guys to check him out. Super talented guy. It's been a pleasure to work with him over this last year or so that we've actually done a couple of covers together, both Gung Ho Blaze Comics, and just been a fun process to kind of work with him. He was on the show and we had a great conversation as well. Super talented guy. So one of the other things that I'll mention to you guys, so let me do a couple of things. So there was a person that asked a really good question when I released yesterday's video. One of the things that they said, and I'm going to paraphrase, they were like, it bothered me just a little bit that you actually signed the comic and didn't have the artist sign it, and that you also charged a little bit more for the yellow labels versus the blue labels. And this person's question is legit. And what I try to explain in my response, which I haven't gone back to see if they, read the response or acknowledged the response, but I want to explain why I didn't get a signature from Yuko, right? And there are several reasons, right? First, I cannot submit books that have been signed by someone else to get a yellow label. It does not work that way. When you actually send a book into CGC as a creator, you have to sign it and send it if it is not witnessed. And you also have to sign a contract that basically say, I attest to the fact that this is my signature that is placed upon this book on such and such date, paperwork submitted. So I could not do that on behalf of Yuko. I could only do it on my behalf. So it would be impossible for me to get his signature and my signature on the book to be able to send it in. The other reason why I actually had to charge more for the yellow label is that yellow labels, to get them graded, is actually double the price. I think it's actually a little bit more than double the price of a blue label. So there's more cost involved. And you also cannot do a pre-screen on yellow label. You cannot do that. So you actually have to send the books in and hope for the best. And so because of that, you tend to have to sign and submit more and take more of a risk, which means now that inventory is kind of tied up, because what happens if it comes back at a 9.6? No one wants a 9.6. They want a 9.8. And rest assured that Yuko was compensated fairly for his work on every one of the covers that I've done. I've actually purchased all of my original art from him. So he was compensated for the work and for the purchase of the original art. So I think that the question that was asked was a legitimate question that I wanted to answer for this one subscriber, but I thought it might also benefit other people to kind of hear some of that. And this kind of ties back to some degree or another, the video that I released yesterday about creators, right? As a creator, I feel like it's okay for me to be compensated. And a lot of times with that compensation, I get to hire other creative people to support their efforts, and it doesn't matter whether it's Yuko Smith or one of the other creators I work with, or guys like the Slow City Blues, where I actually purchased literally 500 copies of their comic with no guarantee that I'm going to be able to sell any of them. So this is just one of those things that I want to explain it because I think that it helps people to understand where I'm coming from and why I do some of the things that I do. So very appreciative of that person that asked that question right there. So there's a question here that I want to answer. Explaining the Gibbon Gang is a very complicated thing. And it is a complicated thing because it is very much an organic thing. At some point in the past, I recorded a video in which I talked about Amazing Spider-Man 110. And I made an offhanded comment about what's a Gibbon anyway. Like recently, I made a comment about green painter's tape only coming from Canada. And both of those comments, I think people took the wrong way. It's a throwaway comment, just me having some fun, but in both cases, it elicited a response from certain people. I had people literally sending me news articles and research articles that identify what a Gibbon was. And I got a kick out of that. It was interesting. It was an interesting response. But what happened is that the Gibbon became a thing of its own. I was having problems with my internet and people started to blame the Gibbon for breaking the antenna or not holding the antenna straight, right? So it became just this running joke among those handful of people that followed the channel at that period in time. And I actually tried to resist any acknowledgement of this whole Gibbon gang or Gibbon thing. But again, it became like a language unto itself. It became an inside joke for those people that were part of the channel. And I just then embraced it and leaned into it. And it was very much a throwaway comment. What's a Gibbon anyway? And it became what it is, right? Which is me creating like my first variant, an homage to Amazing Spider-Man 110, right? So hopefully that helps. I'm actually going to try to record a video at some point to encapsulate what the Gibbon and Gibbon Gang is for people that are coming new to the channel. That way everybody can be in on the inside language. So stay tuned because I may end up doing that video at some point in the future. So scrolling through, I think, let me see if I'm all caught up. Yes, my relationship with GoCollect ended. Scrolling through some of the comments here, seeing what else is in here. Yeah, and from heroes to icons, he's saying one signature on a book when you're submitting as an artist, and as an artist you have to be verified by CGC. Yes, there is definitely a process. And if I don't know, I guess I could get credentialed or something like that to be a witness for CGC, which would allow me to do that. I have no clue what's all involved in that, to be honest with you. But from heroes to icon is a super talented artist that too has sent comics in to be graded by CGC, acknowledging his signature as well. So scrolling through the comments here, I think I am all caught up. I see a couple of things in caps here. No good. How you doing, brother? It is good to see you. And yes, CGC does have the witness to signature unless you are deemed a creator that is allowed to send your own stuff into CGC. I know. I know. And the thing is, it's hard to explain because it's such an organic thing. And as a marketer, I wish that I could create something as enduring as the Gibbon Gang is. It's like it's a thing of its own. And yeah, I am going to create a video. I think that it's going to be self-contained. It is going to try to articulate what it is that I just explained here a few moments ago, and a dedicated video that is like Gibbon Gang explained. Like, I think that's what we're going to do. Scrolling through the comments here. Okay, I am all caught up right there. Yes, I actually mentioned this at the very end of the very last giveaway live stream that I did. I had a comment in there very quickly that this was going to be the last Go Collect giveaway. So again, I think I said something like in the spirit of transparency or something like that. Yes, so that relationship has indeed come to an end. The good news is that I have a new sponsor that is going to be coming on board. There's somebody that I worked with before, most recently. They sent me an email last night saying, hey, we want to continue working with you. They sent me a scope of work earlier today that I have yet to read. And I think it's going to go, I think until December or something like that. So I'm pretty pleased about that. I'm not going to say what it is right now because I want to read the contract and make sure it's all good and sign it and get it fully executed before I say anything about it. But yeah, I have had the opportunity to work with a couple of different companies over the last few years. I mean, I worked with BCW at one point, and we did a series of 6 videos over a few months period that were, I think, incredibly well received, helpful to the channel. I think they got some benefit out of it. We work with Shortbox right now. We have a relationship with them. We've done some things with CGC where I was not compensated, but it was just CGC, so you don't really like say no to CGC. But I've had an opportunity to work with some really awesome companies, and I am very thankful for each one of those relationships, regardless of how long they last and why they might actually end. And I don't go into details on any of that stuff because that's poor form. That's poor form to kind of talk about some of that stuff. What is this? Giving Gang are the OG followers. We do go way back. Speaking of super talented guys, Kingpin Comics right here. It is good to see you, brother, as always. Thank you for everything that you've done. I definitely appreciate that. No, I will not dress up. No, I will not dress up as the Gibbon. That will not. Scrolling through, what is this? He said, to me, the Gibbon was an obscure character. You know, the Gibbon. Hey, the Gibbon is really, in my mind, a super tragic character, especially if you read the most recent Amazing Spider-Man. I think it's 18.HU. Super tragic character. He was introduced by Stan Lee and kind of languished out there for a while. I think he appeared in like Marvel Apes and a few other little things here and there, but nothing really of significance until Amazing Spider-Man 18.HU when it all came crashing down. Do not well done. Let me see. Work on the Given Reg. Let me see. All right, cool. They just released a Gung Ho album in France. Okay, giant Gung Ho album, he says. Okay, cool, good stuff. All right, so again, I'm going to wrap this thing up just super quick. Wanted to let people know that if you placed an order for the Regie Collects Sexy Beast Gung Ho variant, all of the yellow labels have been sent out. You should have tracking numbers in your inboxes if you indeed placed an order. If you missed out, there are a handful of yellow labels and I think one blue label available on the website regiecollects.com, including a sketch, i.e. me coloring. That's essentially what that is. There's 3 copies of this available on the website. If you guys want to show your support for the channel, that is a great way to do it. All right. As always, if you guys need to reach out to me, feel free to do so on Instagram. That is by far the best way to get a hold of me because that allows me to text to you, record voice notes, and also to record video to just be able to respond to you guys. All right. With that, I'm going to wrap this up. But like I said, if you need me, don't hesitate to reach out. Take care.